So chapter 2 of Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan is called Of Imagination. There's a really good quote very early in that chapter. It says, "For men measure not only other men, but all other things by themselves." So this in perceiving, an internal motion is created in the imagination that corresponds to the external object or the impression. You can think of it as if I hear something or if I see something, there's an image created. There's something that tries to recreate that in my mind. And whenever we perceive something like an object, or if the wind is blowing over a field of grass and we see it swaying in the wind, we can tell that the wind is working on that. And we see that mental image in our imagination. We see it through our eyes, and it's creating an impression in our minds. And Hobbes says, "For after the object is removed, or the eye shut, we still retain an image of the thing seen, though more obscure than when we see it. And this is it. The Latins call imagination from the image made in seeing, and apply the same, though improperly, to all the other senses. But the Greeks call it fancy, which signifies appearance, and is as proper to one sense as to another. Imagination, therefore, is nothing but decaying sense, and is found in men and many other living creatures, as well sleeping as waking." Then he continues, "And any object being removed from our eyes, though the impression it made in us remain, yet other objects more present succeeding in working on us, the imagination of the past is obscured and made weak, as the voice of a man is in the noise of the day. From whence it followeth that the longer the time is after the sight or sense of any object, the weaker is the imagination." So what he's saying, he's calling imagination, then he's equating it to decaying sense. We can all identify with this. Memories fade. We can all connect with that. And he continues, "So that distance of time and of place hath one and the same effect in us. For as at a great distance of place, that which we look at appears dim and without distinction of the smaller parts. And as voices grow weak and inarticulate, so also after great distance of time, our imagination of the past is weak, and we lose, for example, of cities we have seen, many particular streets, and of actions, many particular circumstances, this decaying sense, when we would express the thing itself, fancy itself, which the Greeks, as we've seen, call imagination. We call imagination," Hobbes says, "as I said before, but when we would express the decay and signify that the sense is fading, old and past, it is called memory. So that imagination and memory are but one thing, which for diverse consideration hath diverse names. Much memory, or memory of many things, is called experience." So when we do something, we learn a new skill at work, or we go to a baseball game with our family, those things we do become things and activities that we have done, and the impression those things make in our mind, in the imagination, Hobbes would say, those things grow fainter, and our memory is less and less sharp over time of those things. So these things are experiences, and experiences are in the memory. And Hobbes, to finish out this chapter, he says, "The imagination that is raised in man by words or other voluntary signs is that we generally call understanding, and as common to man and beast. For a dog by custom will understand the call or the rating of his master, and so will many other beasts. That understanding which is peculiar to man is the understanding not only his will, but his conceptions and thoughts, by the sequel and contexture of the names of things into affirmations, negations, and other forms of speech. And of this kind of understanding I shall speak hereafter.